We're recording. It is 5:04 p.m. and I'm calling this meeting to order. Hopefully, do we have anybody else besides our committee members, John?
No.
Okay, so we're good for attendance. Hopefully this will be a rather short meeting, folks, and we will be able to get through it very quickly. So if you could take a look at the minutes of October 12th, 2022, and let me know if there are any additions or corrections. If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Okay, Mary. Okay. Second to that?
I will second.
I'll second it.
Okay, Russell, I got you because I can see your face. Okay. Okay. Any other further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carried. We don't have any communications. We don't have any guests. Unless there's something under other old business that you want to bring up. I didn't have anything on the agenda. If you feel you need to do that, now's the time to do that. So is there anything that anybody wants to bring up, or can we move right to new business? All right, we're in new business. I'm going to give you a schematic design update because I've been on the phone with point one several times in the last couple of days. The first phase of our schematic design, which was the site plan with Mike Ott, the one that was presented at our last meeting, has been approved by both towns. Each phase, according to the contract of the schematic design, has to be approved by us and then recommended to the town to be approved by them. So they are in the middle right now of getting the applications for the approvals through to zoning and also to wetlands, because site plan on the north west corner slightly impinges on some wetlands. So there's a need for to make sure that the Wetlands Commission approves anything that needs to be done. And also that needs to happen first before actually the zoning commission, because they'll recommend the zoning, whatever needs to be done. So because we're coming up on holidays in November and December, and the way these two organizations meet, the zoning commission and the wetlands, inland wetlands water commission, I've asked for the ability to meet with whoever can streamline this for us. And I will be meeting with point one and Mike Ott, hopefully in the next week or the next week and a half, to see how we can make sure this gets streamlined and not delayed into January or February, because we have to start talking about the next finance planning. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. And then the next phase of the schematic design will be the MEP engineers and structural engineers who will be coming back to the center to take a look to see what else may need to be done. It's the same group that came in during the feasibility study, so they're already familiar with the center. So it should not be too dramatic for them to come back. And what will happen is, after that, then there'll be a report and approval phase of the phase process. Let's see. And that's basically what I've got at this point. Oh, and point one is going to do a cost estimation for each phase, so that when we start to meet with both towns, with boards of selectmen and boards of finance for looking at funding for the next round of funding that we need, we can give them some more information. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I have one. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
My husband's blowing leaves outside, so I want to make sure. Sorry about that. Today and I don't know if this is where to say it or not, but I just want to make sure that we have it covered. Today we had Ledge Light, which is our, the health district, doing their regular inspection of our kitchen. And while they were there and they were filling out the paperwork for it, he had overheard me saying we were, you know, in the process of going through the plans to do an expansion, blah, 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 to one of the members. And he said, you know, I just want to make sure, because I overheard you, that you guys know you have to come through the public health department as well. So I just wanted to, and one of the things he mentioned to me was that if we have a room which was like a possible where we might be serving food from, it in that little room, that there would be a sink, and that also they would have to just approve the whole plan for the kitchen to be redone. And I just wanted to make sure that that was in there. He was pretty sure it was, but he just wanted to mention it to me. So I just wanted to bring it up just to make sure.
Yeah, that's health and safety would be the next thing that point one needs to go through too. And Ledgelight would be the district that they're working on that. But right now it's thanks, Steph. So thanks for that. Okay.
Jerry, we've had David Lom and Skip has rejoined.
Okay, David. Okay, and Skip. Okay, good.
Yeah, I pressed the wrong button, sorry.
That's all right.
Yes, Skip, David, can you hear me? Because my audio's not working for some reason. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. So, if there are any other questions or concerns about the schematic design phase that we're dealing with now, I can move on to the next item. Okay. 2023 calendar for meetings and roster update on the agenda. Each year, for freedom of information and for notification to the towns, I have to do a calendar of our meeting dates, and also I need an update of rosters for, and I do this for the board of directors as well. Is Wednesday 5 o'clock still okay with everybody, or do we want to entertain a different day, time, or is this comfortable with everybody so far?
No, Wednesday, 5
Anybody?
o'clock.
Fine with
Okay,
me.
Mary, you okay with it?
Yes, I'm fine with it. I plan my life around it.
Oh, good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, please don't do that. Okay, Alan, you okay with it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, yeah, I'm just looking at, I'm hearing all these voices, but I'm not hearing anybody say no. Is there anybody that's saying no?
I'm not
Okay.
saying no, I'm just saying that I'm gonna make them when I can, but there's, you know, but I'm only just a liaison anyway. So, you know, that there's gonna be some that I'm not gonna be able to make, so, but when I can,
Okay.
I will.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Okay, good, Skip. Thank you. Okay, all right. So, and any changes to emails, telephone numbers, addresses, anything, please just shoot me an email and let me know so that I can update the roster, because that'll be good for you too. I'm going to be sending you copies so that you have one that you need to get in touch with anybody on the committee. Okay? Okay.
Mhm.
Under other new business, I will tell you what I have, and then I'm going to open up to see if there's anything anybody else wants to add. I mentioned that we're going to be looking at finance planning again, and we are going to be looking at it as early as the last week in November. I've spoken with David. Thank you, David. And I spoke with Tim Griswold, and I have gotten confirmation from David Kelsey and Alan that we are going to do the same thing that we did the last time we did this. We're going to get the 4 people who are the chairs of the first selectman and the chairs of the boards of finance in the same room to meet and go over what we need, what we should plan, and how we should do it. This is what we're going to do the week of November 28th. I'm going to be planning a meeting with the 4 of you, the 2 of you who are on this meeting tonight and the 2 who aren't. And we will begin that process. What we're going to be looking for is anything that we need to go to construction, but also any soft costs that we may need to incur that may not be included necessarily in the budget that we have now, or may need to be added if we do have costs included. Is there anything that anybody wants to say about that?
Is the comment about additional costs not in the budget some kind of foreshadowing of something that we are aware of? Because, yes?
Yeah, I mean, Tim had some really good suggestions over a long phone call with him today, and David did as well. And I will, this is a preliminary meeting to kick it off at the end of November, knowing that we really have to get involved as far as looking at January and February for both towns. Okay.
So they had suggestions for things that are added to the scope of the project. Is that what you were saying?
Well, there are things that, like Tim's concerns include, do we need to think about money if we have to advertise for anything? Do we need to think about money if we have legal questions? Do we need to think about the possibility of a project manager or a clerk of the works down the road? So, and he and I spoke at length about how this committee is still committed to trying to find funding that will try to offset the cost that we've already projected. With point one helping possibly with projections, I'm going to be asking them to give me more if they have to change anything or if they think anything has to be done differently for the amount that we've already proposed. If so, that week in November, Alan, it should just be a get together and start planning. Okay, what steps we need to take and the timeline that we need to follow, and other things. Now, Tim also brought up the possibility, because I've reached out already to the 3 people who won their elections yesterday on the state level. And I'm going to start working on calling OMB again and talking to OMB about possibility of steep grants, and also just doing the research to see what kind of things we can come up with that might be able to offset these costs. He brought up the idea of bonding, and as far as I'm concerned, the way I left it with them is that we're going to try to do everything we can to not put either town in debt. Okay, do not want to necessarily increase debt service if we can avoid it. But that is something that I will ask the state representatives. The new one is Martha Marks, but Norm Needleman and Devin Carney I've already spoken with them in the past. I'm going to ask them to actually help with research about other ways to get money on the state level through grants or other ways other than bonding, and then save bonding if it's something we have to look at. Alan, does that sound reasonable to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I know David made a comment, but David, you were on mute when you made it, in case you want everybody to hear it. David Lam, you're still on mute.
David?
Yeah,
There you go.
no, I nothing for the group.
Okay.
Well,
Just-
no, what I said was, when John said about, trying to avoid bonding and debt service for the town, I said that would be a good idea.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, you just, Jerry, you just stopped coming through. John, you went on mute, John Kiker, and when you did that, she went on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. My
Actually,
mistake.
it looks
I'm
like
operating. No,
hers actually came off.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
it was John. I'm being the sound engineer here now.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm working the soundboard. John went on mute to go yell at the dogs, and when he did
Yeah,
that, Jerry went on mute.
sorry about
Okay.
that. All right, fine.
That's
My
all
fault.
right. Okay, all right. So, yeah, David, I agree with you because I don't like to owe anybody any money for any reason. Okay, so let's just brainstorm what we need to do and how we're going to do it, and then give this. And I can come back from that meeting in the end of November to this committee and tell you how we're going to move forward, or
So-
suggest how we're going to move forward. Okay.
I will make one comment, which really David's directed at you or you and I, which doesn't have to be answered here. If there's an obvious answer, tell me the next time we meet. But if the town of Old Lyme chooses to have debt, does that mean that the town of Lyme does, or we could just, pay our share and be done with it, have it in our budget and pay it? And it's them who chooses to put, to have debt and interest expense and debt service, or is there something, that just always has to be all one? Because, their piece is a lot bigger than our piece, but I don't see us wanting to or needing to incur interest expense for this size
It's under $1
expenditure.
million to us. It's 25%. And it's about a $3.5 million project, so it's under $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me get my
That's
wallet.
a great question. Alan, that's a great question about, and what's the question that the four of you and I can talk about when we meet. Whether you can
November
do
28th
what
would
you
be a
need
good.
to do, and O-Line does what they want to do, or is it because it's a joint ownership question? Whether or not it has to be done jointly. So it's a great question, and let's save it for Mr. Kelsey and Mr. Griswold and David and you when we meet at the end of November. Okay?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right. So that's all I've got. Is there anything under new business that anybody would like to add?
Yes.
Alan?
We are so happy that you're doing well after your procedure.
Yes, we are.
Oh, well, this is being publicly recorded. So what I can tell you is this. Thank you for all the emails and cards and everything I've received. I'm recovering from a pretty involved surgery, but it's okay, and I'm doing well. And hopefully after my post-op meeting tomorrow with the surgeon, I can actually start to eat food. Okay.
Congratulations.
My goal tomorrow. Okay. Other than that, things are moving along. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. And if we don't have any public comment, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting unless anybody has anything
Motion
else
to adjourn.
say. Yeah.
Second.
Okay, David, and who would like to
I'll second.
second?
John.
John. Okay. All right. We are adjourned. It is 4:22, and I think I just broke my record. Okay.
522.
422 somewhere.
True.
Over the Atlantic.
Go get a margarita. It's 422 somewhere.
It was 422 last week.
Right.
It's 422
You know what?
somewhere in the Atlantic.
Before this
it's 522.
disconnects, for whatever crazy reason, that Saturday night, I was actually on my iPad at 1:58, in the morning, 1:59, 2:00. And then I was like, okay, what's the iPad going to do? And at 2:01, it went to 1:01. So like, if something happens, like somebody's born at 1:15 a.m., does somebody have to say which 1:15? Because
Yeah.
1:15 already happened, and then it happens again. So that's my thought for the evening.
So a twin could be born before its other twin.
Yeah, I'm the older one, but I was born last.
That's beyond my
Whatever.
brain thing.
Yeah, I can't handle that. All right, guys.
Good night.
Night,
Good night.
everybody.
Bye.
Good night.